What is drag? In reality, drag is really hard to define, primarily because there is no exact definition. Some say that drag is a gender-bending art form in which a person dresses in clothing and makeup meant to exaggerate a specific gender identity, usually of the opposite sex. Others say drag is an art form that ties together all art forms. It is the expression of gender identity in any which way one decides to pursue. I personally define drag as the culmination of resources, ideas, and self-identity in order to express one's creativity, while making a statement about oneself, society, or cultural history. Hey guys, my name is Mikey Dallas, I am 25 years old, and I'm a drag queen from Brooklyn, New York. I first started doing drag when I lived in Chicago at the age of 16, so I've been doing it for about 9 years, but performing in Brooklyn for about 5, and it's been quite a journey. I used to be so obsessed with pop superstars like Lady Gaga, Madonna, and Nicki Minaj that I started putting on wigs, trying on makeup, trying on costumes, while hiding in my closet, of course, no pun intended. And before I even knew what drag was, I realized that I really like portraying a strong female character. And low-key felt like maybe I could do this better than Madonna. And the rest is history. It's strong female performers like Lady Gaga and Madonna that persuaded me to move to New York City to try my hand at a drag performing career. They didn't care what people said, they didn't care what people thought, they just kind of did what they wanted to do, and they did a really good job at it, so I thought maybe I could do that too. And in pursuing my drag career, I discovered people like RuPaul and Lady Bunny and even old school queens like Divine that showed me the power that drag possesses and how it can truly change the world. Drag as an art form has roots that tie back as far as ancient Greece. At a time when women were not allowed to perform on stage, men would take their place as they portrayed the female characters. This practice carried on through Shakespearean times, and furthermore into the 19th century when it had been transformed into a performance art. Showcased primarily in vaudeville shows, drag later became deeply tied with the LGBTQ community at a time when the community was marginalized, thus further transforming the art into a form of protest. A notable demonstration, known as the Stonewall Riots, famously cemented the drag queen as a revolutionary figure. The violent demonstrations occurred on June 28, 1969, in Manhattan's Greenwich Village, when trans drag figure Marsha P. Johnson threw the first brick at a police raid, sparking a violent outrage. The rest was history. Brooklyn drag is like no other kind of drag you'll find anywhere else in the world. It's a really cool culmination of dancing queens, lip queens, pageant queens, bearded queens, fashion queens, art queens, and so on, kind of squeezed into this really tight-knit community where everyone's pretty much supportive of each other. And you can feel it coming to a Brooklyn bar where it's kind of divey and rugged and not the most appealing, but there's this huge positive energy that comes from the gay scene here and the Brooklyn drag scene that makes you feel at home. And you can't deny the impact that Brooklyn drag has on pop culture and society, and I'm really honored to be a part of it. The really cool thing about drag is that it's not about hiding behind wigs and makeup and costumes or hiding behind a character. It's about using those things to discover parts of yourself that you did not know were there. I for one know that through drag I was able to discover things about my identity, my femininity, and my creative expression that I wouldn't have discovered otherwise. When I'm on that stage with Mikey Dallas, I become this entirely different person full of pride and confidence that I am not entirely out of drag. And I realized that that's not a different person, but it's a part of me that I did not know was there, and I find a lot of comfort in that. I create practically all the things that I wear in drag, whether it be the headpieces I make, whether it be the wigs that I style, or the dresses that I make, or the hip padding under those dresses. A cool thing about drag is that you kind of learn how to make things as you go along, and I take pride in that. I would hate to wear the same thing as any other queen, so I definitely utilize that skill. This particular dress that I'm wearing for you today is my Stars and Stripe runway look. I fitted it perfectly to my body, and I stoned each individual crystal by hand, as well as sewing each patch on. I wanted to really embody my drag femininity. I wanted to embody my drag body, and I wanted to embody the culture of America that we have, but not the dark side, but the potential of what it can be for the future. My family's always been pretty supportive of me and my ambitions in performing. Whether it be me as a kid, being in plays, musicals, dancing, or theater, any of the such, they have always been on my side. So it's no surprise that when I came out about my drag career and my sexuality, they were pretty supportive. My mom was especially happy. Being a mother of 4 boys, she said, finally I have a daughter, and that Christmas actually, she got me more jewelry, makeup, and dresses than I got boy stuff. So I've been pretty fortunate to have that. The one thing that was concerning was my father. He is a very traditional, old school Latin man. So he felt kind of weird about it at first, but back home in Ecuador, where I'm from, they adore the craft of drag, and they think it's such a wonderful art form. So they persuaded him to lean my way and be very supportive. In my time doing drag, I've certainly seen a lot of changes, for the better of course. For one, the media has really taken drag and shined a spotlight on it that it would not have gotten back in the day. Because of this, the community has been more supportive of other forms of drag, such as AFAB queens, meaning assigned female at birth, so biological women doing drag, as well as transgender queens, which was not exactly the most ideal thing until more recently. I think this is really cool because it really gives a lot of people the opportunity to try out this beautiful art form and to discover parts of themselves that they wouldn't have discovered otherwise. It's a pretty fulfilling experience, and having that spotlight on it, I feel drag has, will, and will continue to change the world. In more recent years, drag has become a mainstream phenomenon, gaining wide acceptance by audiences throughout the world. This is primarily due to exposure from music and movie stars, but most of the credit has to go to the success of the world's most famous and notable drag queen, RuPaul. In 2008, RuPaul propelled drag culture into household living rooms with his television show, RuPaul's Drag Race, in which contestants compete in lip syncs, runways, acting challenges, and sewing challenges for the title of America's Next Drag Superstar. This show also serves as a platform to highlight issues in the drag community. For instance, in Drag Race Season 1, a contestant discussed their HIV-positive diagnosis. Queens who have been on the show have moved on to great commercial success, launching their own television shows, as well as makeup brands, clothing lines, and worldwide tours. Of my many performances in my Brooklyn drag career, I have to say my favorite performance of all was definitely the one I did for Miss Brooklyn in 2018. Miss Brooklyn is a competition in which queens compete for the title of Miss Brooklyn, and my performance there really did change drag, for the better of course. I basically wore iPads on my shoulders and I lip-synced to different versions of myself being projected off of those. It was a really cool combination of my different skills, whether it be drag, video, technology, and so on, and to this day people still remember that performance and bring it up, and all nationwide people know about it. I've kind of seen a lot of drag queens incorporate iPads and technology since then, and I also hear people say like, hey, that's like a Mikey Dallas thing, and that's pretty cool to me. At this point, I've been doing drag for almost 10 years, so I think it's pretty fair to say that I will not be stopping anytime soon. Whether it be when I'm 30 years old, 40 years old, 50, 60, and so on and so forth. I'm not going to give up this wonderful art form, and I'm not going to stop talking about it, because I feel like everyone should have a chance to know about this art form. So I think it's pretty easy to say from that I will not be going anywhere anytime soon. Mikey Dallas is here for the long haul. We've come such a long way from where drag first started to where we are now, but that being said, we've got such a long way to go. I personally see the future of drag as drag in which every person is included. No matter your sexual preference, your gender identity, your race, your form of drag, anything. I want drag to be experienced by every person on this planet, be admired by every person on this planet, and be accepted by every person on this planet. Because I believe that if we all have the opportunity to discover who we are on the inside and the potential of what we can be, then we can discover the potential of what the world can be for its future. And that is the future of drag. Drag will change the world. You